Local and live, covering Franklin and Washington counties, it's Let's Talk Tri-State with Tiny and Katie.
Welcome to Let's Talk Tri-State, all powered by Home Right Windows and Doors in Waynesboro, the right choice, voted Best of the Tri-State 2024. As we do every Friday, our good buddy from localnews1.org, we have Dan Dodona here, who's going to go through the Tri-State and all things that are happening in our community. But first, how was your holiday?
It was outstanding. I'm dragging around way too much additional tonnage, but it was great.
Mm-hmm.
Good food all the way around. Had family home. It was fun.
Yes, yeah, and good New Year.
Excellent New Year.
Did you make it till midnight?
We did.
Yeah.
We actually we stayed up and then we took pictures and sent them off to the kids, and they all said they were asleep. Quit waking them up.
I actually made it until 2 a.m. I was proud of myself.
Ooh.
I haven't done that in quite a few years, but we were drinking wine and just having such a good time, and ended up making it way later than I anticipated.
It's funny how that works sometimes, isn't it?
Sometimes the wine just gives you that, that little steam that you need to keep on going. So what do we got coming up this weekend?
Well, there are several things. For the 5 things to do this weekend, I don't know if anybody knows Jeff Allen. He's a bit of a comedian. He's got some clean, family-oriented humor. He's going to be performing his The Human Condition, We're Still Not There Yet tour at the Otterbein Church in Waynesboro. That'll be tonight, starting at January 10th, starting at 7:30 p.m. He features a rapid-fire kind of comedy where he talks about marriage, family life, and personal redemption. Tickets are available, and he takes excerpts from his Repair the World series of broadcasts.
Any idea what the tickets run?
They did not say.
Okay.
Perhaps just a prayer. Diving into history at the Miller House Museum, they're going to have a culture and cocktails event with historian Stephen Stottlemyre. It'll be from 6 to 8 p.m. tonight at 135 West Washington Street in Hagerstown. He's going to be exploring a legend of Wise's Well at Fox Gap, which was a significant Civil War battlefield event. Apparently, there's a lot of controversy over it. Some people think that it was made up, and others not so much. While they're there, they're going to be providing cranberry pomegranate Bellini cocktails.
Nice, I love that.
And light hors d'oeuvres. Doors will be opening at 5:30 if you want to get a rip-roaring start on the cranberries.
I like the idea of pairing history with cocktails. Might make the night a little bit more interesting if you're not a huge history person.
Well, you probably want to take full advantage of the cocktails the night before, because the following day at 10:30 a.m. at Greenbrier State Park in Boonsboro, there's going to be the 22nd annual Polar Bear Plunge.
Yes.
That's right. The plunge itself is scheduled at noon. You're supposed to show up and get checked in starting at about 10:30. They'll be providing, the purpose of this event every year is to provide care and find homes for thousands of animals every year, and it's kind of a nice way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
A little crazy, but nice. It'll run from 10:30 until 1 p.m. I grew up in Detroit. They used to do things like that in the Great River and up in Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
Actually, Lake Michigan was cold enough you could almost do that in the summertime.
Oh my goodness.
Very, very cold lake.
I actually did this polar plunge last year.
Did you?
We partner with for this event, and our sister station Bob Rocks, they've already raised a few $1,000s for it. But last year I did the plunge, and it was great. I'd never done it before, but one and done was it for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if the event was so much fun. I would like to go and just stand on the shore and the beach, but
watch the other people.
And just getting in, I think that was a one and done type thing.
And drink your cranberry pomegranate.
I'll be on the beach with the Bellinis, yes.
Okay. Next up, also on Saturday from 11 to 1:30 is John Piniski. I don't know if you've ever heard of John. John's been writing a series called Snake Bit. It's about the dynamics of the Civil War and Reconstruction. And John has a very different kind of a style. He doesn't simply just give you a bunch of dates and times and say, oh, this guy did that and that guy did that. He's actually looking to try to help share what people were going through how they were divided in between families. Maryland kind of went both ways during the Civil War. There were areas and members of the same family that were on the north side and the south side, and they ended up fighting against each other. Anyway, his latest book, Snakebit 5, Cattywampus, A Savage Stalemate, is going to be, he's going to do a reading at the Gallery 50 in Waynesboro from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. That should be pretty good. He does a pretty good reading of it as well. And last but not least, if you remember back in ancient times when we talked about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, well, it's now STEAM.
I was just before you said that, I said where I used to teach, we called it STEAM.
Yeah, it's STEAM. They've added art into that, and that's actually a good addition, because before economies or the economics of building things got so tight and the competition got so tough, a lot of engineers were part artist and part engineer, and they were as intent upon making the things that they created, whether it was buildings or whether it was machines or whatever, they were intent upon trying to make them the most beautiful as well as functional things as they could. Well, the beauty tended to recede into the background as competition heated up, but you still had to be somewhat of an artist in order to be able to visualize.
Absolutely. Okay,
I got something that needs to move at the faster than the speed of sound and not fall apart.
Yeah, that's an art that I don't have.
Yeah. So anyway, at the Alexander Hamilton Memorial Free Library, children through K through 5 are being invited to participate in their January STEAM Express program.
That's fun.
That'll be Saturday, January 11th. It's a 2-hour challenge, and it'll take place in the library's makerspace.
Very nice.
So there were a whole bunch of things that happened over the. We also published, if you want to go back and look at Local News 1.1, there were a whole bunch of things that happened while we were off for the holidays.
Yes.
I'm going to do a quick recap of several things that we missed over the holidays. New Year's Eve, there was a donut, there was a potato roll, and there was a rose in the area that dropped in the local area. The donut was down in Hagerstown, the potato roll was up in Chambersburg, and it was a rose in Waynesboro. There were new first babies. Can't say new; they're all new. But there were first babies of the year. The first one was at Wellspan in Chambersburg.
Fisher, right?
Cash Levi Buckholder. Buckholder, excuse me. Was born at 12:51, 8 pounds 6 ounces, 22.5 inches, and she was born. She and mother Amber were both doing well. And at Meritus, over on the Maryland side, Fisher Ashley Sinew, I think it's Sinew, was born at 4:21 in the morning, 7 pounds 15 ounces, 20.7 inches, born to Olivia and Chase Sinew.
You know what surprised me about that story is that it was at 4 o'clock in the morning, and that was the first baby at the hospital. I would have thought it would have been much closer to midnight, 4 a.m. You know, I just thought that was interesting.
Well, I remember when I was growing up in Detroit. It was there was some competition around the whole area for what time did you clock for? 12:01 was pretty competitive.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm not sure how the moms felt about that.
Sure.
And probably just as soon as possible, please.
That's right.
But
let's not hold out any longer.
Yeah. On the theme of babies, we have a new baby representative, Chad Reichard, who was sworn in on the 7th of January up in Harrisburg. He's got a great background. He was a former staffer up in Harrisburg for a number of years, and then he went over and joined John Joyce's team when he got elected to the federal position. And now he's kind of come full circle and says, well, I think I could probably do that. So he's got a good background for this. As an absolute minimum, he knows the back doors and how things work. So he should. We're looking forward to great things. New Year's also brings out a variety of new things in the state of Pennsylvania. I don't know if you knew there are over 1,500 townships. It's like the dominant form of government in the state of Pennsylvania. By contrast, there's only about 50 cities and 150 boroughs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
a large number.
1,500 townships are required by law on the first Monday of the year to have a reorganization meeting. Now, that doesn't really mean they change the structure or anything. What it really means is they set all the new tax rates, if there are any. They republish rates for various services that they provide. They appoint new people or just the old people reappointed to various positions. In Washington Township, we used to get a book. It was about an inch thick, and you just kind of go through there. Fortunately, we would cover multiple pages at the same time. Motion to approve those pages, yes. All in favor, move on. But you could spend all day.
Absolutely, I'm sure.
So is that name misspelled? Oh my.
Let's just deal with that. That sounds like a tomorrow problem.
Yeah, that's a tomorrow problem. Franklin County, other things that have been happening. Franklin County Career Tech announced 7 new certificated veterinary assistants who completed a 3-year program and will be serving the community. And as you know, there's a growing need for that sort of thing. Maria F. Kramer, formerly the CEO of the Hagerstown YMCA, was appointed by I think it was by the county, Washington County, as their new director of the Office of Grant Management. So, good lady to get in touch with if you're looking for funds. Mm-hmm. She'll be the person that's administering all those programs. There were some bad things that happened. Pennsylvania State Police arrested a fella, Joshua Bresnik, on murder charges on the 3rd of January. This was for shooting a 20-year-old Rakeem Floyd on the 18th of December.
Right before Christmas, too.
It makes you wonder. I must be naive. Most people must be naive because it never occurs to me that, well, gee, I have a problem with this fella, so I ought to go shoot him.
Right.
It just never,
Mm-hmm. So unfortunate.
And Chambersburg Police charged Gregory Leroux with terroristic threats and domestic assault after engaging the police in a 7-hour standoff.
Whew.
On the 18th of December.
Oh,
was fairly
a lot going on.
Was there a full moon on the 18th of December?
It was not a good day.
Not a good day. Continuing on a story that we had been covering previously, remember the folks that were driving all the way down to Tennessee to help out?
To help with the Hurricane Helene.
That is still continuing on. The Shady Grove Ruritan is going to be hosting a spaghetti dinner to support Hurricane Helene folks. It's also going to be tomorrow from 4 until 6 at 2100 Buchanan Trail East. What their objective for this event is to buy a camper for one family, which is really kind of nice because you hear so many people say, "Well, I can't do anything about that." Well, there's an old saying that goes something like, "He was never so wrong as to say that he would do nothing because he could only do a little." So many little things
add up to something big.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They add up in a big hurry. So. That was that one. McConnellsburg. Interestingly enough, the Fulton County Medical Center was awarded a 3-year accreditation for an MRI. If you don't follow a lot of medicine, MRIs are wonderful because they don't have to cut you open and see what's going on inside. They can just take a really sharp picture. Mm-hmm. And what they do is they take it in slices, little tiny pictures, and then the computer adds them all together, and you get a magnificent picture of exactly what's going on inside the human body. And the computer takes care of all the technical part of that, but simply allowing the docs to get a glimpse of what's going on is just so important. Mm-hmm. It's sometimes it's the difference between, oh, that's serious, and they immediately go off in one direction. And of course, time is everything in the medical business. So.
Now, Dan, I know that you have a lot of stories that you'd like to share, and they're all available online at localnews1.org. For the sake of time, maybe we can pick 1 or 2 more. What do you think are like the big heavy hitters that we need to cover?
Well, actually, after the shootings and whatnot, we have a new feature that just started recently. It's called the Brewery Roundup.
Oh, now you're speaking my language.
Okay. Triggers, Rough Edges, the Michaud Brewing, the Gear House Brewing, Barrel House, and Hidden Key. What we were actually finding was they were sending us like complete weeks worth of here's all the events and here's the different kinds of beers and things that we're going to be celebrating and what kind of snacks are going to be available. And technically they ought to be advertising, but instead we said, well, here's an opportunity. You know, a lot of people are going to want. There are beer drinkers.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Before the game tonight, as a matter of fact, there'll probably be a brew or two consumed. So a good thing is we started collecting that stuff and just made a regular article out of it. So okay, here's what's going on at Triggers and all the others. And it's been a little bit hit or miss, but we're hoping to make that a regular, recurring, standard feature. We just hired a bunch of new writers, so hopefully that will help to make that a more solid contribution.
Wonderful.
See what else we got here. Meritus is increasing wages. They have a target of $20 minimum wage. They're not quite there yet. They started in 2021. I think the wages were around 15 or 16. This current step, which is going to be effective on the 24th of January, steps up the minimum wage for all Meritus employees to $18 an hour, which is nice.
Sure.
And very timely considering what inflation has been doing to people. Let's see.
I think that might be a good stopping point right there, Dave,
Okay.
if you're okay with that.
Excellent.
And all those stories are available online, localnews1.org.
They are, absolutely.
I'm anxious to keep up with the brews. What did you call it, the brewery roundup?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm anxious.
Brewery roundup.
I have a couple girlfriends coming in from out of town and spending the weekend, and they wanted to hit some different breweries. So that is something that will be very beneficial for us to take a look at as well. And we'll see you again next Friday. Thank
Looking forward to it.
for coming in again. And we'll be right back with Let's Talk Tri-State.
If you'd like to be featured on an upcoming episode of Let's Talk Tri-State, call 717-597-9200 or email letstalk@921thegoat.com. If you'd like to be featured on an upcoming episode of Let's Talk Tri-State, call 717-597-9200 or email letstalk@921thegoat.com.